Friends, hang on a minute. I'm having some issues here with this YouTube. Is it doing? I didn't have permission to live stream. Live? Okay, I guess I'm live. Wow, I had some issues logging in today. It told me I didn't have permission to go live. Holy smoke, guys! Let me see if I'm on here. Friends, hang on a minute. I'm having some issues here with this YouTube. Oh, I gotta hit mute on this. I didn't have permission. Wow, I'm having some real issues with YouTube and with Google and with Zoom today. I don't know what's going on. They're throwing boulders at me. This is Greg Allison of the Green Gregs, my friends. Oh my gosh, the news has been off the rockers lately, and I've just have been so balled up with trying to get things set up here, trying to set up my solar. I'll do some videos on that coming soon. But guys, let's hit the news. I mean, we are in a pickle right now. We have this prospects for World War III. I mean, it still could happen in Europe because it seems that Europe wants it. I mean, good grief. What is going on over there? So we're going to talk about that. Well, what it boils down to is Russia has the whole reason they went into Ukraine, what they told us before they ever went in, and they tried to get us to negotiate something with them then, and we didn't do it. But what they told us was they didn't want Ukraine to become part of NATO, that NATO had advanced on them too fast, too far. You got to remember, James Baker was Secretary of State, and he negotiated when the Soviet Union fell, and he assured them that the NATO wouldn't make 1 inch of progression toward Russia because they're paranoid about this, and I'm going to go into that in a minute why they're so paranoid about that. And yet, suddenly, NATO just expanded to all the territories that is the former Soviet Union except Ukraine. And Ukraine applied for NATO, but Ukraine really didn't qualify even before they got into it with Russia because they had a lot of internal problems. And then, there was this deal in Ukraine where they had a president that was democratically elected in Ukraine who was siding with Russia, and he got overthrown in a coup, which many people believe the CIA had something to do with pulling some strings. We'll leave that for debate right now. But the whole thing is, let's see if where's this thing coming up here. I should be listed on this that I'm live, and it's not showing it. That's weird. Let me back out of this and come back in. I'm going to pull up the chat room. There it is. I'm going to make sure I don't have any sound on here. There we go. There we go. At 45 in here. So the whole situation is that Russia didn't want NATO forces, European forces on their border. Well, Trump tried to negotiate a deal with Russia, and Europeans didn't want no part of it. They've said, hey, we got to be in there. We're going to put forces in Ukraine. And that's what they're saying right now. And that's a no-go for Russia because that's why Russia started this whole war in the first place. And of course, Zelensky is wanting to, it's made a lot of statements. Well, we got to have, our provinces back, the ones that Russia is already occupying. That's a no-go. They got to be able to give up something. Now, maybe Russia would give up something. Maybe they give up Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, if we really negotiated with them. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. And that would be, each side should get something, so each side can save face. That's how negotiations work, right? But, that's not what's happening right now. Europe is dug in their heels. A lot of people said that Trump abandoned NATO. Well, no, Trump tried to get NATO to spend their fair share for their own defenses. We've been covering 2/3 of Europe's defenses for decades now, and he actually has got them to come up to $800 billion. That's interesting. So you might consider that a win for what he was pushing. I mean, that's only fair. But then again, I would say we should abandon NATO and a whole lot because this is a really European affair. And I've covered that many times in other videos, and that's been in the video with David Pine. We talked about how we could really go for peace here. But, whatever you think about that, you can say it in the chat room shortly. But I'm going to get into some of this because we're going to talk about why is Russia so paranoid? They have reason to be because Russia has been invaded many, many times. And that is what's really driving this whole thing. For example, just to lay it out there, when Russia got invaded in WWII, they lost a very significant part of their population. We're talking 26 to 27 million people. And, that's a combination of soldiers and civilians and everything. That's a lot of, it's 1 out of 8. imagine if you got invaded and you lost 1 out of 8 of your people. They had to fight very, very hard to expel the Germans in that war. Very hard. And you know, this is just one of many. If you hear Peter Zion talk about it, he says Russia's been invaded 42 times. It's quite a few. There's at least 11 major invasions. It started with the Mongol invasion back in 1237 to 1240. The Mongols were led by Badu Khan, but they conquered the Kievan Rus. Back then, their headquarters was in Kiev, and you know, that was the capital of the Russian Kiev Rush people. They were called the Rush or Kiev Rush, and the Mongols conquered them and occupied them for 250 years. Yeah, like how long the United States has been a republic, right? Almost. So that's was very significant. They got invaded by the Poles and the Lithuanians. Yeah, back in 1605 to 1618. These were called the times of troubles. And Poland and Lithuania jointly occupied Moscow from 1610 to 1612. Then the Swedes invaded them. Yeah, you never heard all this, did you? From 1708 to 1709. Then, of course, you know Napoleon's ill-fated invasion because it really ended his empire because he lost so many troops due to the Russian slash and burn approach, which he also used against the Germans, but the Germans were prepared for that, they thought. So the Germans stayed and fought a lot longer, but it was really the undoing of the German side of the war more than anything else, probably, because they had to invest so many of their troops over there that it did them in. So anyway, and then, you know, the Crimean War was 1853 to 1856. And that's where Britain, France went in with the Ottoman Empire and took, you know, tried to take Crimea. Then you had the Japanese invasion in 1904 to 1905. There was World War I, 1914 to 1918. Germany and Austria and Hungary invaded Russian territory on the Eastern Front. Then there was this Allied intervention back during the Bolshevik Revolution. And yeah, the United States was involved. The U.S., UK, and France and Japan all intervened to try to stop the Bolsheviks from taking it over. You might remember right after the overthrow of the Tsar, even though it was started by the Bolsheviks, there was actually a democratically elected government that took over for a little bit, but the Bolsheviks overthrew it. Then there was, of course, World War II. In World War II, we had the German invasion, 1941 to 1945. Chinese and Soviet Union had a border conflict in 1969. Then there was the Chechen Wars, and there were just all kinds of other things. There was nomadic invasions from the Tartars, the Persians, or however you say them. Persian Ottoman Empire, you know, took a stab at it. You know, in fact, if you look at the big onion dome, about the only religious cathedral that was allowed to stand under the Soviet Union times because it was a sign of their defeat of the Ottomans, was, you know, they got on top of that dome, they got the crescent, so signifying the Islamic Empire, but they got the cross over it, meaning victory of the cross over the crescent. So because that was such a significant thing where they tore down a lot of churches and cathedrals in Russia, that one was allowed to stand. It was inside the Kremlin. It's still there today. Now, most of those that they tore down got rebuilt as soon as the Soviet Union fell, because the Orthodox Church there was ready to pick up and go again. You know, and so Russia's been involved in a lot of conflicts. Like I said, 42 according to Peter Zion. So, you know, just a lot of border incursions and things like that. And really and truly, Russia and China aren't such good friends as you might think. But we've kind of forced, as I said many times, we have forced the bear into the lap of the dragon, and the bear is not really happy there. In fact, Putin made a comment regards to potential peace with deals being worked out with Trump. He said that, hey, you know, Trump says we should cut all our militaries in half. And Putin said, yeah, I think that's a good idea, because if we cut our militaries in half, combined, the United States and Russia could still dominate China. See, that really says a lot. I'm going to come back to that topic in another video in a big way, and maybe some other videos. But that signifies that maybe Russia is serious about this. But they just can't live with what Putin said. And now, something Peter Zeihan will tell you quite often, and I repeated this many times, is that what Russia really wants to do is they know that the landmass up to Moscow is just flat plains, and that forces could go across that very rapidly, as they have many times in the past, especially in the days of mechanization, blitzkrieg and such, So they are concerned that they can be taken. They don't have any good natural barriers between them and Europe. That's why, since Catherine the Great and Peter the Great, they have strove to have their borders way out in other lands where they could be protected by the Carpathian Mountains, basically. And they wanted to have forces just north and south of the Carpathian Mountains and let the Carpathian Mountains be their border. Well, that means they got to occupy a lot of other peoples and territories. Now, honestly, today, Russia probably couldn't pull that off as an occupation. They did it after World War II, at Yalta. The agreement was kind of made to cut Europe up between Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin. And they kind of agreed to that, kind of a spheres of influence kind of thing. And maybe we need some kind of spheres of influence agreement with them. But, those countries that they occupied, they hate Russia. The Lithuanians, Estonians, Poles, they don't want anything to do with it. Those provinces are most anti-Russian in the world, because they lived under that regime. They lived under communism, and Russia's not communist today, but they got very, very, very bad memories of it. They don't want anything to do with it. And, nobody should be occupied that don't want to be. Nobody should be forced to be in a government that they don't want to be in. Everybody should have a right of self-determination. I've said that in here for a long time. And that should include Ukrainians and Eastern Ukraine. But and Russia, if Ukraine was not militarized, they might actually be happy with that. If we had a real strong deal with them and had other defenses, maybe not in Ukraine, to try to assure this, or maybe we could get some deals with them. But these have been the issues that Russia had before the war. These were issues that were sticking points with Russia for some time. And like I said, before they ever went in, Putin put it out there. He said, this is what we're concerned about. And people didn't hear him. They didn't understand, because in the Western psyche, we don't get it. Just think about here in the United States. The South still has got a grudge against the North in the war between the states. Way back, even the Southern states were eventually, after Reconstruction, which was probably more damaging than the war, assimilated back into the Union and had full voting rights, and became, Southerners were U.S. citizens, as they had been before. But in Russia, they really want to project as much defense as they can. They want a barrier, they want a buffer, just so that they know that NATO is not about to jump down their throat. Now, really and truly, if you look at these other countries, you think, what, these little French and all these countries in Western Europe have been so absorbed in their own economies that the idea of them actually staging a major invasion into a big country like Russia, especially with all its nuclear power, seems laughable. Yet, right now, they are apparently wanting to keep this war going, because if the United States withheld aid from Ukraine and cut them off, they would be a lot more amenable to negotiating with Russia. But the European countries, Russia, we'll give you arms, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. And so that's why Zelensky got to the White House, and, supposedly they already had a deal made, and suddenly he's trying to backtrack and argue with them right in front of all the press in the Oval Office. That's why he got dressed down so fast. You don't do that. But, when you go to a major signing ceremony like that, everything's worked out in advance. There should be a total understanding agreement, and that's where everybody thought they were. But Zelensky had other things in mind, and he tried to bring it up, and that really ticked off Vance and Trump. So whatever that is, whatever you think about that, Trump dressing him down did make him do some reconsideration, and so he went back to negotiating with him, and he's gotten somewhere with. I don't think Ukraine's minerals. Ukraine's a big place, but a mineral deal with Ukraine is kind of questionable. Russia got much better options, and actually, Russia was talking to the United States about a mineral deal with them. because Russia really don't have the resource to develop their own country, and they're under threat by China. You realize it or not? You know that China is actually renamed. There's an island out there in the it's between Russia and China. It's called the how do you say this? It's the Bolshoi. I can't get the name of that in Russian, but anyway, China has actually redrawn maps showing it with the Chinese name and being in the Chinese territory. So China has got designs on probably all of Siberia. And another thing that really didn't help the United States case with the Russian that really got their probably the hackles up about the whole thing was people were putting out maps after Russia invaded Ukraine of Russia being divided up and all these different territories and sections, and some of them being controlled by outside states or being independent or controlled. There was different versions of those maps went up showing Russia being divided up into 12 or 14 different regions. That didn't sit well with them. You can bet that, especially given the paranoia. But like I said, there's a reason they're paranoid. And you have a major war that you lose 1 out of 8 of your people. That, look, I was in Russia 15 years ago this month, a little earlier in the month, March of 2010. I was in Moscow. I went to a opera in the building where the Politburo meets and all that stuff. What's the Russian Congress called? Some of them get me confused sometimes. What's it called? Duma, I believe it's the Duma, where it meets inside the Kremlin. Yeah, I was inside the Kremlin. Red Square, all that stuff. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. But the lines to go to this opera were really long, and the seats in there were packed. And the whole opera was about it wasn't even on the main anniversary. The whole opera was all about the defeat of Germany in World War II. And yeah, they had the Cossacks in there, squatting down about a foot above the ground, kicking their legs out like their knees are made out of rubber or something. I don't know how they do that, but anyway, it hurts my knees just to watch that. But that's a pretty amazing sight to see those guys doing that. So yeah, they had the dancing Cossacks and all the stuff you'd expect in a Russian opera. But this was a major production inside the Kremlin, and so that just shows you that just speaks volumes that this is still very ingrained into the Russian psyche, very ingrained. They're very paranoid about Europe. And that's the reason. And that's why Putin, one of the reasons, now you may throw out 100,000 other reasons, a lot of the reasons, except for that Putin put out, was probably just window dressing to give him more support for what he was doing. But whatever you think of that is immaterial. The fact is that Russia still wants some kind of buffer, and they're probably not going to give up the Russian-speaking oblast in Ukraine. Not the ones that they've taken with a lot of blood, and if those people had a vote, then supposedly they did vote to join Russia. And they had voted previously to be separate from Ukraine, and they were somewhat autonomous territories. And according to many sources, part of the whole consternation between Russia and Ukrainians were attacking people in those oblasts, because they were wanting to be independent. Now, that's a whole nother argument, a whole nother show. I'm not going to get into that in this program. But there's a lot of things that went on behind this that led to the conflict we have today. But the conflict we have today is extremely ugly. And a lot of people are perishing every day, thousands. And it's a heinous thing to see. And Trump wants to end it. And a lot of people got mad and called Trump a Putin's puppet just because he talked to him. But Trump's he's still arming Ukraine. He's still offering, to put more sanctions on Russia, threatening Russia if they don't come to the table and actually make an agreement. So just because you talk to both sides, but how do you negotiate a deal if you don't talk to both sides? You can't. But he helped Ukraine out initially because he knew Ukraine wasn't going to budge. Oh yeah, we got to have every inch of Ukraine back. That's not going to be in the cards. I mean, even if you negotiate that and you agree with Ukraine, Russia's not going to go along with it. And right now, Russia is still advancing in that territory. So why should Russia really quit right now? I mean, Russia is still advancing. The only reason they want to quit is because this war is destroying their demographic, maybe. They're losing a lot of young people they need to keep the country strong. And, that may be it. It's a big cost to them and personnel. War's horrible. There's nothing great and glorious about war. We need to tell Ursula von der Leyen, who's the president of the UN, not UN, of the uh, European Union, that they're saying it pretty well. Yeah, by the way, she's not elected by the people of Europe. She's elected by their parliament, whatever they call it over there. And all those people aren't directly elected either. It's not a very democratic system. And these so-called Western democracies over there, they're not democracies like we are here. They don't have freedom of speech. In fact, Britain's now threatening that if you post something on social media here in the United States, an American citizen, and you go over to Great Britain, you could be arrested for speech. If you go to Great Britain, that's a warning to you guys. You need to bear that in mind. You could be arrested over there because you said something on social media that they consider offensive. Yeah. So and there's the categorizations as to, but in fact, they want to extradite Americans to Britain to prosecute for that. Well, that's not going to happen in the current administration, but maybe Biden or Kamala Harris. I don't know. Oh yeah, this is terrible. We got to stop misinformation, disinformation. Blah 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 blah. You got to remember the Biden administration. It's been proven now, actually coerce social media in the United States to ban a lot of stuff. Right. Anyway, ooh. And that's been proven now. The documentation's out there, and that is a crime in and of itself because the federal government's not supposed to be involved in abridging the freedom of speech. That is a attribute that you would attribute to things, countries, forms of government like was in Europe, especially in Italy and in Germany from the late 1930s to 1945 or 1944 when they got defeated on that side. So, guys, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about, Europe is they're talking about putting troops into Ukraine. See, they really are messing up the deal that Trump's trying to negotiate by trying to fund. The whole reason Ukraine wants to keep going is because they're still being offered arms and money. And if the United States wasn't going to do it, they were going to do it. Now they're talking about putting troops in, but they want American cover. They want air cover for their troops in there. And that's what could pull us into World War III, especially if this deal falls through and if we stay in NATO. I say if this deal falls through, the United States needs to exit states, needs to get out of NATO, clean, complete, sever it, wash your hands up, and get the heck out. And we ought to do it anyway, but especially then because that's just going to draw us into World War III. And for what? Do you want to risk your homes, your homeland, your lives in a war with Russia over an area of Eastern Europe, eastern part of Ukraine that's predominantly Russian speaking already, that probably ought to belong to Russia, over why are we doing this? It's small territory. It has no strategic significance to the United States. Neither does the rest of Europe, frankly. Today, Europe is a dependency that cost the United States. What great advantage do we have at defending Europe? Europe ought to be defending themselves. They got so many people and such a large economy. They could defend themselves if they would do it. If they could take care of themselves, they could do it. But I don't know if they have the willpower. Now they're beginning to talk like it, but it may be a little late for them. But they should, Trump in the first term told them that they needed to take care of themselves, that they needed to spend more in their own defense. And so he's finally got them step up to that plate, but maybe he had to scare them to pull down NATO and looking like he meant it. And maybe he does. Actually, most of us probably would hope he would. If you think the United States still ought to pull out of NATO, put a 2 in the chat room. If you think the United States ought to stay in NATO, put a 1 in the chat room. Let's see where you guys stand on that. We'll look at that in a minute. So I'm going to look more to chat room when we get through this. I'm going to show y'all some articles. We're going to go through some things here so that we can see what's happening. We've got how many people in the chat room here? 134. Not too bad. That's the most we've had in the chat room in a long time, but I started earlier tonight it's hard for me to get all this stuff together, do a video until it's really too late because I'm on California time now. I wanted to do this video a couple nights ago and I just couldn't. I just realized it was too late. A lot of the content I'm bringing you now, I had already assembled then to speak to you on. It was just too late. When it's like 4 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, just starting a video, that's kind of rough, especially if you want to be a live session. I could have did a recording anyway. So, I'm having a hard time seeing it. I'm going to have to put on my glasses to see the chat, but my phone is way down there, losing focus being in there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do a share screen. We're going to go through some articles, I think, here in a minute. Look at a few things, just to kind of buttress what we're talking about here. And some of the other stuff happening. Oh, by the way, I thought I had this. Maybe I think it is pulled up. Arizona is actually taking some interesting steps. I want to show you to defend the power grid. I think we need to pull that up and talk a little bit about the economy. Oh, yeah, a lot of people are worried, oh, the tariffs are going to wipe us out, blah, 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 blah. No, we're going to have an adjustment period to go through. But guys, we're going to be a lot stronger on the other side of this. Just bear with it. You know, we got a little pain to go through right now, but it's going to be a good thing in the long term. It's going to make America grow. And I've covered that in some other videos if you've seen them. So let's get into share screen and cover some of these articles. Yeah. There we go. That's where we'll go. Boing. Bada bing, bada bang. And here we are. Now, you might be aware that, you know, there's been all this talk, oh, well, look, the stock market crashed when they started talking tariffs. Well, it didn't crash. It went down some. It was sitting at about 44,870, and now it's dropped down to y'all seeing this share screen? Yeah, okay, good. It's dropped down. It dropped down, and then it's come back up to 41,488. It's come back up a little bit. And it's coming back up kind of steep. How long it will keep coming up, I don't know. But over the long term, the growth in the economy due to reshoring jobs here in America is going to make it a lot better, a lot stronger. But there's an adjustment. You know, some companies are going to have to make some adjustments, and there's expenses up front. There's a few things involved in that, but we're getting huge investments in this country because of this already. So that's the good news. And I think it may save the dollar as U.S. reserve currency. I covered that in a previous video. And then go back and see some of the videos I posted here over the past couple weeks back. I didn't post anything in the past week. I've just been too busy. Sorry about that, guys. So, but stock market's down and gold prices are up. Gold hit 3,000. It looks like, according to Defy the Grid, it's back down a little bit. I say it's hadn't updated it here. But it's just right under 3,000. So it might be this is a bargain here. Once you might want to think about this. Like I said, what I've always loved about this Defy the Grid site is these guys have a guarantee that nobody else out there I've seen has given in any deal. Find a better price, call us today. We'll meet it or beat it. So if you can find a better price on coins, bullion, gold, silver, platinum, whatever, they can beat it, and they got the gold backs, and you might be quite aware I like the gold backs. So, because they're fungible, you can stick them in your wallet. But see, that's not the only thing available here. There's a lot of stuff available here, but they got the great deal. So if you go there, be sure to, it's not an affiliate link. Just go to defythegrid.com and use the discount code, the coupon code. It's a coupon code, I believe. Green Gregs, my channel name, GREENGREGS. I'm sure somebody's probably posted some links to that, guys. So let's get back into this, what's going on here. So the Russian president's long blamed NATO expansionism for his own invasion of Ukraine. So this is just to bring it up. So Putin has come out and he's put out some counterpoints. He says, and some people are fussing about, so how can we and how will we be guaranteed that nothing like this will happen? He's talking about still, you know, how do you really stop the hostilities along the borders? Because there's still a lot of things going on. How do you coordinate it? How do you say that? He said there's a lot of details that hasn't been worked out. And he's probably right about that. Now, some people say he's trying to use this as an excuse to further the war, and maybe he was. There's supposedly some internal documents that claim that. But, you know, I think with the right pressure, will bring him to the table. And hopefully that's what's happening. We need both sides to come to the table, and both sides need some pressure to get on the table to end the madness and end the carnage. So, but here's more of what kind of worries me here. NATO could extend Article 5 protection to Ukraine without membership in NATO, according to the Italian Prime Minister. What's that mean? That if Russia attacks Ukraine, we're in World War III? That's what that means. That's what that means. This is what I'm saying. The Europeans have gone mad. This is not the people of Europe. I'm sure most of the people of Europe don't want this. It's the governments that have taken power there. And I would hope that the Europeans would wise up and take off some of this globalism that's been dominating their continent for so long, that they would realign their governments, just like we just did here in the United States. Oh, yeah, Romania tried that, didn't they? What happened? The courts there invalidated the election where a populist candidate was winning. You see what they're doing over there? And they brag about being democracies, whatever that means. How can you do that when you get a guy getting elected? Not only that, but then they banned him from running, and then I think they arrested him. Wow. The top choice in Romania for president. Wow. That's what the people wanted. Well, the people really need to start speaking up loud over and do something about it. The people in Europe don't want this no more than people in America want it. I guarantee you. Who wants World War III? You got to be off your rocker. I mean, the stuff that like you saw over there. And then again, we got half the Ukrainians say territorial concessions, forfeit NATO membership in exchange for, in other words, completely unacceptable. Well, okay, well, maybe you'll just forfeit your entire existence as a nation if Russia runs you over. Because if this deal ain't met, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some problems, or we're going to be in World War III. Again, why should we risk World War III over that? If we do, let it be a European problem. Let it be a European World War III without America. That's my point. Why are we in it? I'm not seeing any. I don't know if the chat room stopped rolling because I'm not seeing any new messages here. And what I got up here. I asked people to vote ones and twos. I'm not sending it here. Maybe I got to check my messages that on my other browser where this stuff goes on this computer. That's odd. I'm not saying it. So usually this thing is the best place. I'll look at them a little bit, guys. Hope I ain't missing super chats. That's the reason I put this phone on, as I'm trying to keep up with events in the chat room, because I can't have two browsers on the same computer open at once. I used to use a desktop and this laptop to manage that. The desktop is still in storage somewhere, and I got to figure out which one it is. All right, here we are. Arizona House of Representatives passes ban on Chinese technology and critical infrastructure. I'm injecting this early on in this because I really want you guys to support this, especially if you're with me here in Arizona. I get a lot of Arizonians who are coming into my live sessions and watching my videos now. I have been for some time. House bill, Arizona House Bill 2696. If you're in Arizona, write your senators and say, pass this bill, because the House of Arizona passed it. And this is like what Trump had originally, an executive order that banned this. And on day one in office, old Biden rescinded it. And we hope Trump comes back with something like this or something better. In the meantime, what this could do for the rest of you is you need to be talking to your state representatives and say, hey, guys, we need a bill like Arizona's putting out. This can be an example for everyone to follow. So let's keep this in mind, guys. House of Representatives in Arizona passed the ban on Chinese technology and critical infrastructure. This includes a show water system, includes water, it includes power. Power grid defense has been a big thing for me from before I even started my YouTube channels. Because I chaired 2 power grid defense conferences part of this. I'm a member of 2 national power grid defense committees, including the one started by the late great Peter Vincent Pye, the MP Commission, the MP Task Force on National Homeland Security. I'm the Arizona State Director now for that. So, so we'll go back to the war story now. UK Starmer announces coalition willing to deploy troops in Ukraine. Yeah, that's not going to go. And see, they're even without a a ceasefire, they're talking about doing this. Get engaged in the war. And you got the Italian prime minister saying, "Hey, Article 5, guys, we're getting in some dangerous ground here. Very, very dangerous ground. This could escalate bad, very bad." Very broad consensus emerging among Europeans. How about the leaders, so-called leaders of European countries? I don't know how this really reflects in the population. Like I said, Europe is not a great example of truly democratic countries. They just wear the veneer of it. Yeah, we talk, well, we got to defend our democratic allies in Europe. Well, they're not really allies, they're dependents. What do they bring to the table to help us? And they're not really democratic as far as I can see. J.D. Vance went over and lectured them in Munich on that, and I really applaud him for doing that. And they had to listen to him. Had he been a European citizen over saying the same thing, they would have arrested him. You just aren't allowed to say the kind of things he said over there. But he was the vice president of the United States, and he got away with it. He could do it, and he did do it. So for J.D. Vance. Anyway, what he said to them. He just put it plain. He said, "Hey, your worst enemy isn't Russia or China. It's yourself." And I couldn't agree more. Anyway, Putin responded to the peace plan. Oh, shoot, we got stuff popping here. What is that? Got to move my icon here, the X on it. It was not good enough, says the UK. So the United Kingdom isn't happy with what Russia wants. Well, this is why Trump did not include Europe or Ukraine in the initial negotiations with Russia. So, and Poland is wanting nukes. Poland is wanting nukes in their country. If you haven't heard, so they're wanting U.S. to put nukes in Poland. And furthermore, see, this is really, that's really going to stick in the craw of Russia. And Macron, French President Macaroni, has actually talked about doing the same thing, creating a nuclear umbrella with French nukes over all of Europe. I'm sure that's going to go well. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Europeans seem like they just want World War III. Even Bjorn on his YouTube channel, what's his name? He was talking about that today. Anyway, the Europe seemed to have lost their mind. They want war. So, yeah, rank of the best. Russia hits back at Emmanuel Macron after he told Europe to prepare for war. And Russia's basically saying, "Hey, we'll clean your clock." Every day he makes some kind of completely out-of-touch statements that contradict previous ones, according to Russia's foreign ministry. So what about that, guys? So France, Macron, he just wants to be a little Napoleon. He's got delusions of grandeur of France being the empire it once was. Yet they can't even hold on to their old territories in Africa, and yet he thinks somehow he's going to dominate Europe. Wow. And Russia. So I'm having a hard time seeing that. But Denmark's ready to send peacekeepers, as they call them, to Ukraine. This is all the stuff. See, Denmark, France, United Kingdom, all of these European countries are talking this kind of stuff, and that's why some people are saying that they're just mad. But each side is attacking each other a lot harder than they had been, because each one's trying to get a last-minute advantage. As you know, Ukrainian drones put a big attack on Moscow. Moscow's just put big attacks on Ukraine, and they're pushing the frontline troops harder, and they're making some territory there. So you got to bear all these things in mind. So there's a whole list in here of what's. This is Putin's statement on Ukraine ceasefire in full. So he went out and said, "Before I says how I view Ukraine's readiness for a ceasefire, I would like to begin with thanking the President of the United States, Mr. Trump, for paying so much attention to resolving the conflict in Ukraine." But then he went on and here talking about things like he had to agree with the proposal to stop hostilities. Now, some people say, well, he just rejected Trump's proposal. No, he didn't. He is trying to negotiate a little better deal. He's telling you where his sticking points are. But he wants the Ukrainians. They're pretty much like they were to start with. There's a big, but most of this centered on uh, just how you shut the war down. And there's a whole question about the Ukrainians that are in Kursk, what to do with them. Trump asked them to spare their lives. And Putin's response was, well, I will if they surrender. They're basically surrounded right now. The Kursk invasion is, according to many sources, surrounded. The Ukrainians say, oh, it's not true, it's not true. But they've actually retreated and gave up a lot of their equipment. And of course, Russia still don't want to see any European forces in Ukraine. He wants them to demilitarize. They probably won't demilitarize entirely, and that can probably be negotiated away. But he definitely does not want to see European forces there. He does not want to see them joining NATO. I will skip that. That was something else was covered differently. And again, like I've told you guys in the past, Europeans are spending more money on Russian oil than they work to support the Ukraine. So, how can it be so hypocritical to say what they were saying here to the States? Yeah, I'm not getting any advancement in here in my chat. So once I get through these articles, I'll go check my chat session out on the other browser, just see what you guys are saying there. While Russia-U.S. talks are a good sign for all of us, but this is what is coming out of the Russian side. They're saying this is good. So, that's hopeful. That's really hopeful. As on Putin's list of demands, I'm not going to go through that in any great detail. But, Ukraine says, Ukraine will not recognize any territory occupied by Russia. According to Zelensky, really. That's why we should win in by cutting off their supplies first and force them to negotiate. But Europe is kind of short-circuiting Trump's strategy on that. Europe is short-circuiting that. But anyway, so Trump's actually sending more stuff over there, but that's also a negotiating point. Now, some people don't understand this. Trump considers redeploying 35,000 U.S. troops from Germany to Hungary amid World War III terms. Now, some other really big YouTubers have said, well, look, the United States is putting troops on the front line. See, I told you so. Trump's going for World War III. He's all into the war. Well, you forget when you make that allegation that Hungary is not going along with that kind of stuff. Hungary doesn't want to see the war. Hungary is not pro-Ukraine. Hungary has got a mind of its own. They've been a holdout on a lot of things in the European community against Ukraine. And so Trump is actually taking them out of the line of fire, probably. So it's the opposite of what some other YouTube channels are made out of this, in my humble opinion. Not to say that, I could see where they thought that, but maybe they just didn't understand the perspective of Hungary. So I won't fault them too hard on that. But it's not exactly putting they might be a little further east, but it's not exactly putting U.S. troops on the front line, as some people have supposed. But, hey, guys, we got a lot of war tension, a lot of World War III tensions in the world. And it's not just in Europe. In fact, the biggest and worst ones are going to be in Asia, specifically between the United States and China. China. I just did a consultation with AI. I'm going to do a video on this in the very near future, maybe tonight or tomorrow. The AI consultation that I went through said that a war between the United States and China was at least 60% likely, more likely than not, primarily between the years 2027 and 2035. So in 2 to 10 years, we're more likely than not to be in a war with China. And according to the same analysis I got out of the AI I consulted, it said that there was a 60% chance of the United States being EMP'd or a tactical nuclear war on one end, or perhaps even a full-blown nuclear war. But at least a 60% chance of tactical nukes and EMPs. EMPs would take us down It would end life as we know it in America. I've covered that many times. If you don't understand that, you need to go back and look at some of my old videos where I talk that in infinitum, how dangerous that is to us. I've even made a video saying that an EMP attack would be worse than a nuclear war, full-scale nuclear war, as if the nuclear war didn't include some EMP effects, which it would. But guys, this is a true big risk to us. 60% of 60%. That's like you got a revolver and you're playing Russian roulette. Most of the chambers are loaded, not one. Most. That's scary. That's actually very scary to think about. And AI is trained by people on the in West Wokistan on the left coast who tend to favor China. The real odds, I would say, are much worse, much worse. So we'll go into that. I think it was being optimistic. That is my humble assessment. So, guys, if you think that just because we're getting some peace with Europe and Russia, that all the war is over and we don't need to prep anymore, you need to think again. You seriously need to get your preps in order and keep prepping. And furthermore, you need to consider this whole thing with China. Actually, the thing that might stop the war with China, the best hope to stop China and to prevent a World War III is if we get a better relationship with Russia. That is the best hope. And AI agreed with that. Something I have been saying before, long before Putin rolled into Ukraine. So what is this article? These ads. This is Iran. So there's North Korea. Oh, yeah, I didn't even go on that North Korea thing. I just kind of hit the article and talked right over it, saying, hey, that's not the only thing. North Korea unveils what it says is a nuclear-powered submarine, which could launch nuclear-powered weapons, which means it could go anywhere in the world. It could go right off our coast, supposedly. That's just one more loose card in this whole specter of World War III. Then we got this thing going on with Iran. Trump is really wanting to negotiate with Iran. Is that going to happen? It's not looking good. Iran, Iran's a much bigger country than Iraq. Dealing with Iran's going to be tough. The best thing that would happen is if we could just wait and the people of Iran take over the country. But the people don't want the Ayatollahs running the country over there. So many countries, the people don't want the leadership they got, but they feel like they're stuck, especially in China, because you realize that the Chinese internal police forces are bigger than the Chinese military. So they fear their own people more than they fear anybody else on the outside. Imagine that, guys. Whew, what a state. And they got all the control mechanisms they have on the population. But China says it's ready for war. I wish I could get this article up over this ad. China says it's ready for a war. China said it's ready for war with America if it raises defense spending and imposes retaliatory tariffs on the United States, or as it raises defense spending and proposes retaliatory tariffs on U.S. Imports. Guys, the whole balance sheet, everybody's worried about, well, we're going to get tariffs on this. Look, we're the net importer of the world. When it comes to tariffs, it's in our favor, big time, because we are the market everybody wants to be in. And so tariffs is win for America. It's lose for everybody else. Yeah, there's some adjustments. You'll pay some more for some product prices, maybe. But we already didn't pay when Trump put the first tariffs on China. Chinese actually reduced their expenses to keep the market going. So you didn't see inflation under Trump. Trump term one, even though he put tariffs on China, 10%. You did not see inflation. Trump had the lowest inflation. But look, if you don't believe China's serious about invading Taiwan, look at these invasion barges they're putting together. This is massive. This is way beyond and way higher tech than anything we ever used in the beaches of Normandy when the United States invaded Europe with forces to take out the Germans. Look, these aren't the little roll-up barges that men run out of and run up the beach. They got these huge bridges that can actually go beyond the beach into like the highways, the good rolling terrain. So they're talking about armored vehicles, blitzkrieg almost, and they can link up 3 or more of these ships at a time, and they can all use this bridge structures between them. This is a huge boom. They just lower. And look, they raise the ships out of the water. Maybe that's just so that the boom will be more stable on where it hits the land. I don't know, guys. This is wild. and they're building these things, and they're building them fast. And they have these other roll-on, roll-off barges, and they got all the other more traditional kind of invasion, amphibious invasion vehicles they've had for some time. They've been building like crazy, and they're talking about using commercial roll-on, roll-off barges to do the same thing with commercial cargo ships. Because in China, if it's commercial, it's also military. Everything's military in China, and you paid for it when you bought all that cheap junk in Walmart. So, you might be thinking you're getting cheap stuff, but you're going to pay for it again with all your defense budget, taxes on that, and you may pay for it again with a war. Tom Cotton, he's a Republican senator out of Arkansas, says U.S. could lose a war with China. Well, duh. We've been concerned about that for some time, especially since we have so little munitions and ammunition that we've been giving so much to Ukraine of our munitions. We're low on ATACMS. We're low on so many things. And it takes years and years and years to rebuild. The deputy of the Marines went to Congress and told them, look, we're out of ammo. We gave all our stuff to these other guys. And yeah, we're supposed to replenish it. It takes us years to replenish what we've given them. And we're hearing the same thing from the Army. Hey, we've sent so much stuff over there. We don't have anything to fight with. And we're playing whack-a-mole with the Houthis. Now, actually, Trump just went in and attacked the Houthis. That's a whole another war for him. He just went and put a big attack on them again. But, well, yeah, this same Tom Cotton's what Tucker Carlson says is holding back on the release of the JFK papers. Now, Tom Cotton denies it and says he's for the release, but I don't know. Something fishy going on there. Here's from the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, the bulletin.org. Wow, I was just like, I've got so many things open. Internet's kind of slowing down on me. And within the past 5 years, China has significantly expanded its ongoing nuclear modernization program by fielding more types and greater numbers of nuclear weapons than ever before. Since our previous edition on China in May of 2024, China's continued to develop, says 3 new missile silo fields. Now, I've covered that in the past. 3 entire missile fields. And yet they claim they only got 900 missiles. And I was covering this before Dr. Peter Vincent Pratt passed away. And he said, look, every one of those missiles they put in there is capable of having 10 warheads on them. And when you count all the silos, China probably has thousands, maybe more than us. And they've just been hiding it. And plus they've got all this, they got other missiles that roll around on vehicles. They got missiles that are mounted in submarines. They've got more missile launchers than we do. So why is their warhead count has always been estimated to be so low? Peter Pry never bought that. He thought that was a sham. And I would agree with him. Why are you building so many maybe it's decoy, but guys, why are they building so much stuff? And this says that I think it is. There's an article here that's claiming that China has building a lot of missiles that are putting Japan in range of those missiles. Here it is. China significantly increased the number of missiles capable of striking Japan. Yeah, key U.S. ally. Now, we are intimately connected to Japan economically. They got a lot of factories in the United States. We're intimately connected with Taiwan economically. Our computer chips mostly come from Taiwan. We're intimately connected with South Korea the same way we are with Japan. There's a lot of South Korean production plants in the South, for example, Huntsville, Alabama, places like that. But China, some people think China don't have any technology. China is higher ahead of us in fusion technology. They've got a spy satellite up now that can actually see people's faces and recognize facial expressions. They're developing a launch vehicle very similar to the Long March 9 to the spaceship SpaceX Starship. They're developing a hypersonic engine, one of the rotating detonation types that can get like Mach, I think they said 16. That's almost orbital. Guys, China's developed some crazy stuff, guys. They stole a lot of our technology so they can expand their engineers, cutting the edge a little bit further in many areas. But China's got these humanoid robots now that they're making that can actually outrun people. They're riding bicycles and all kind of crazy stuff. So, and drones. the future of warfare is going to be drones. It's not going to be all these big vehicles. Hoping they don't hit the close button on this. If I think I did, I just killed it. Sometimes you try to open a site, you kill it. Anyway, but the good news, everybody's so worried about Trump administration. The good news is that inflation dropped to 2.8% in February, lower than expected. Inflation's down. And some people think that Trump's going to force a reduction in interest rates in May. That he's trying to do that, trying to get the Fed to go along with that. So, there's some economic improvements here. We're going to see the oil prices go down. And with oil prices going down, that's going to bring inflation down across the board. You got to remember, Trump's first term, we had low interest, low inflation. Things looked good for a long time. Here we are. Long-range bombs heading to Ukraine. Attacking supply dwindles. That might be great for Ukraine, but our real threat is China, not Russia. And we're going to be ill-prepared to deal with that. What is this? Get it open. Some of these things just aren't wanting to open. Want to close. Oh, yeah. The media is out there telling everybody that Trump is, Musk don't cut anything. Musk don't fire anyone. Musk is basically a tech support to the Trump administration. He's just pointing things out. But there's somebody out there saying, well, he's going to cut your benefits and Medicaid, Social Security. No, they're trying to find waste and fraud and abuse. They're not trying to cut benefits, guys. That's a narrative that's been put out by mainstream media, and that's never what he said. So you get a lot of smoke screen going out there, guys. I should come back to that in a future video. So we're kind of getting the political side now. We know that there's been like 119 injunctions by lower courts against the Trump administration. A couple of them have been overturned recently, but he's trying to get the Supreme Court to block that stuff because why is it some lower court in some state can say what the chief administrator can do with administration as allowed by the Constitution and try to thwart that. So anyway. The Constitution gives the president a lot of power. We're trying to abscond with that. Now we got threats here at home. Look at this. The so-called, what I don't even want to say the word here. You got a Facebook page, guys. These guys do. They got a face, and they're recruiting veterans, police officers to join their so-called rebellion. Claims they're stockpiling weapons to prepare for what's coming. And it looks like Act Blue. Maybe Soros have been funding some nefarious activities. As you may know, there have been massive attacks on Tesla dealerships, on people's Tesla vehicles that they own, on Tesla charging stations, massive attacks. All from the people that said, hey, we need this technology for saving the environment. All at once, they don't care nothing about it. How about that? So this is their logo. I did go to Facebook. It is there. I looked it up. Yeah, it's there. This is a real site, guys. So you better be watching yourself at home. So we don't have to just contend with sleeper cells that we talked about a lot. You got to worry about some of these other folks here who are malcontent over somebody finding waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. So, yeah, we've got Civil War and World War III to be concerned with here, guys. This is why you need to be prepping. This is why you need to be prepared, and you need to watch your six. Maybe join some. Start setting up your own little survival communities. Whoops, what happened there? We lost it. That's not the article I thought I was going to open. That's interesting. Evan of its own right. Biden scheme exposed 1 trillion. 1 trillion spent on what? Wow. $1 trillion. We're running annual deficits of $2 trillion, guys. $2 trillion. You think there's not something we could cut in the budget? Wow. If you think that we could find somewhere to cut some stuff out of the budget, put a 6 in the chat room. If you don't buy that, put a 5. I'll check the yeah, this chat room on this phone is not advanced. The chart's advanced, but the chat room stuff. So I'll go to the chat room and see what you guys are putting out there. Guys, we've had a couple of small earthquakes here on the San Andreas, San Francisco and the LA areas. I think that's two of them right there. Oh, that's an odd one. That's an odd earthquake location. Maggie, Mississippi. And of course, that's that, any of these up in the Midwest. Elder, Kansas. It could be oil. We've had one not too long ago in Mexico. 5.6 down there. Just kind of scan out a little bit and look around. We got one up in Alaska. Oh, what's this? Yeah, it's the 5.6 in Mexico. And of course, around the Ring of Fire, there's a bunch of, 5 range. Got 5.1, Papua New Guinea. That's pretty typical. We got them down here in 5.0 in Chile, Triana, Chile. We got some activity over here in Europe. Italy, 3.2. Procida, that is. But earth's are shaking, guys. Space weather, we got a lot of sunspots. But none of them are threatening sunspots. There's a lot of little bitty sunspots, but nothing that's looks like it would generate a flare right now. That's good news. There's some auroras pictures that was taken during the lunar eclipse a couple nights ago. And then we got asteroids. Good thing about asteroids. Again, you can always see and look up in the past and see near misses, but looking ahead, there's really nothing that we know of here that's poised to hit us yet. So we're good on that territory at the moment. So be thankful for that. Weather, oh my God, guys, weather has been horrendous. Tornadoes, yesterday we're in, I guess, Arkansas and Mississippi. And this line of storms just went through Alabama, real severe in Alabama, and that's in Georgia. It's getting later now, so the energy should be coming out of the system. I had reports of a tornado that went through part of Alabama. So fortunately, it's not as bad as what they feared it might be, in part because it was probably cloudy most of the day today there. So we may have somewhat dodged a bullet, but there were several people that are not with us anymore, especially from the storms from yesterday. I think there was reports of losses of 17 people. There was a big traffic pile up in Flagstaff on I-40 back a couple days ago due to snow, and it caused a bunch of vehicles, I think 17 vehicles, something large number of vehicles to crash and burn. I mean, they burnt. And I think 3 people were lost in that. We've been getting a lot of snow here in Arizona. I've had woke up to, we had the night before last snow, last night snow. I woke up this morning to snow out here. Lots of snow in this area. For those of you that follow me on Facebook, you'll see I posted pictures the past few days. I didn't post anything from last night though, but I could have. Anyway, so things are still pretty active with this storm front. If we go forward a little bit, see where this might be it's going. It's not playing forward here. Not doing what I wanted it to do. Anyway, we do not want to stay on this. Oh, there it goes. It shows up advancing there. Past, but not into the future. I go the wind models. It shows that kind of stuff. I really want to see the storm models. So I'm gonna stop the share. Hello. Now I'm gonna go to the chat room in the other browser where this Zoom and YouTube opens it, and try to see what you guys are saying here. Oh, it's way behind on the pictures there. My phone is more up to date. That's funny. Yeah, when I started the video, I was told that I was authorized to go live. I just, hey, Soul's Eyes, how you doing? Good to see ya. There were 2 really bad accidents on I-40. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we got how many people we got in the house? 159. See if I missed any super chats. I'm not seeing any here in this list. If anybody's aware of any, let me know. It's not showing here. I'm not seeing everything on this laptop. So apparently what I'm seeing here is more recent, and what I'm seeing there is older. There's probably a gap in between. But I haven't got any super, not a lot of super chats lately. Let's see. Let's see. I was obviously overreacting about going to ER since you didn't lose your sight, John Taylor. True weather's with us. New days, Arnold. Lasers eliminate drones. Yeah, they're developing laser systems and microwaves. Microwaves might get more of. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Canada here in a minute. Go there, JoJo. How you doing? Keith in Arizona. So many companies filing bankruptcies and closing stores. A lot of that. S. Lee, how you doing? Dude, last name is a blondie. Watchman, America will not be America anymore if all these land grabs happen. Well, we're hoping that we can keep China from. Well, we're actually turning back some of the land they've taken. How come my chair? I can't get it to move. It's not scrolling. There, now it's scrolling. Shoot. Scrolling's messing me up. Kathleen, how you doing? Bothers me about USMCA agreement is that DJT was so proud about it that he signed that contract. So why does he now blame Canada for the deal he signed? I don't know. Shaggy, my Bluetooth died. How you doing, Shaggy? We got Jesse Mills in the house. People we hadn't seen in a while. Don Patoka, how you? Arnold Ringrex, how you doing? Good to see you in here. He stealth hovered over my car and took off lightning speed, unbelievable. Went into Star Wars. Hey, JoJo, was it a drone or did you see a UFO? What did you see? Hey, Mount Spur, yeah, Mount Spur's ready to blow. I've been seeing articles on that. Big volcano in Alaska. Caldera is hitting Alabama. Hey, Nikki's look, how you doing? Well, yeah, Greenland is not Canadian or US right now. It belongs to Denmark. We've had bases there for some time. That's about the Northwest Passage. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to do a video. Got stuff pulled up. I'm going to do a video explaining that something's not a Putin puppet. Some of my videos have been directed toward a lot of the criticism I've been hearing. I got a Facebook page. I post stuff and a lot of people get mad at me. There's a lot of liberals in there. I think I lost 100 friends on Facebook in the last week. Some people don't like the stuff I'm posting. But I just put it out there, but there's a lot of people making a lot of claims or hearing from the media, and they're just not true. And a lot of them are saying, "Great, why don't you watch the media? Why don't you watch the regular media and you get the truth?" That's what they've actually come out and told me that. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? That's how hypnotized some of these people are. UFO? Oh, wow! Talk about that some again. We're getting close, y'all. 36 likes. I mean, like, I'm not showing any. I'll have to refresh this page in a minute. Red room and Trump sign isn't what's going on now. Okay. All right, don't surprise me. Let me do a refresh on this page and see what it comes up with here. It says I don't have any lights. I don't believe that. I'm saying 127 likes, 148 watts. Okay, good. Yeah, I had to refresh. Sometimes you got to refresh your page to see where. North Alabama hiking. How you doing? We're getting hit hard today. Yeah, I believe that. I understand there's a lot of flooding. Greg, I'm trying raised beds this spring. Do you plan on garden? Yeah, I'm looking at getting some compost and manure and different things delivered here. I'm hoping I can get a garden started. I got some turmeric and I've got some garlic that sorely needs setting out, but I need a reliable water supply. I bought a water tank. I need to set it up, a big 3,000 gallon water tank, and I'm probably going to try to get water delivery to it to get me started, and that'll hold me for a bit. And then putting in a well is going to cost some money. Hesley says Allah plus Bama equal God's high seat throne. Well, I never heard that one. Esley. Let's see. Esley's been in Alabama though. Time to make some potato soup and a bit of bacon, some onion, and salt and pepper. It sounds good. Put some through the computer and let me have a bite. So nothing I didn't show an article on, but y'all might be aware that there's a delegation from Alberta went to Washington, D.C. to look at making Alberta a state of the United States. And we're told, well, basically you got to separate from Canada first and then you apply for statehood. Might happen. Now, I'm kind of thinking that maybe the conservatives will win the Canadian election this time, even though the media saying they won't. But then again, they said Harrison was going to win the United States, right? So maybe the Canadians are waking up and they want to get rid of this mess. But even though, Ontario, the eastern part of Canada, just like the east coast of America, is very liberal because of the big cities. So, we got to say that, John, you leaving? Well, thanks for joining us. Hit the hay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. So, guys, the situation is that if the liberals do win again, I think the people in Alberta are going to be mad. They might seriously consider separating. And I just don't know if they can handle that because they've been dumped on real hard. And Saskatchewan's liable to go with them. Maybe even Manitoba. Might be a chance for the United States to get that and some territories and connect directly to Alaska again. I'll make you some one day. Okay, JoJo. Keith, there's enough for me. 1,000 grams of delivered water, about $70. Not bad. 1,000 grams. 1,000 grams is a kilogram. Kilogram for $70. You mean 1,000 kg? Oh, 1,000 gallons. Yeah, 1,000 gallons. I see G, I'm thinking grams. You mean 1,000 gallons. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do at first, Keith. Wells are very expensive out here. Wells are that's why if I can just get delivered water at quantity, I'm gonna set up rainwater collection too. I'll be able to water a garden and get a worm farm going again. That's not as big as the worm farms I had before. I'm not going to go that like that for a while. Anyway, so yeah, good night, John Taylor. You all serve, or are you really leaving this time, John? Oh, well, maybe he just has a hard time saying good night. So this crowd's hard to leave, right? Jason Smith. Hey, I read a science fiction book where Quebec turned communist in about 500 years. Well, Quebec is pretty liberal, and they're French. They wanted to break away from Canada many times. And so if Alberta goes, Quebec may go, Canada may just fall apart. What's left of Canada might be Ontario and maybe a few, maybe Manitoba will be with them. I don't know which way Manitoba will go. Worms from Mars, that's right. I'll probably have to start the Red Planet Redworm company. West is best for views, not for water. Yeah, we got some, oh my God, beautiful views out here. Beautiful views. Well, if I get water, I'm sitting on top of the Coconina Aquifer. It's the second largest aquifer in the world. It's not been tapped and drained like a lot of the other aquifers are. In fact, it's barely been tapped by comparison. So both Ontario and Quebec receive 90% of wealth transfer payments from the Western provinces. Yeah, the West is just being messed up. Casual preparedness. Hello again from the Gulf Coast of Alabama. Good to see you from the Gulf Coast of Alabama. the Gulf of America almost, right? John, yeah. So there's a lot of water under the desert. There is. That's what I'm talking about. This Coconino Aqua is huge. Plus, just the roof of this building I'm in here. It's a 200 square foot building, but the annual rainfall here averages at 12 inches, or precipitation, I should say. It's not all rain, but it averages about 12 inches, which is just a little bit over the criteria to actually truly be a desert. So this technically is an arid region. You don't have to go but a few miles when you're in a true desert, just north of here. You go a few miles south of here and you got big tall pine trees. I mean, giant forest, just a little ways from me. In fact, the road that I come in and out on, there's a place I can stand. I can turn around. I can see the abject bleak desert on one side, and I can turn the other way and see the forest in one view. I mean, the climate up here, the climatic zones are narrow. The USDA planting zone here is a 7A. And where I was at in Huntsville was borderline 7A. It gets colder here at night, though. And the planting season, the growing season, is shorter because of the cold nights, late frost. I think the last frost here is May the 17th, was April 15th in Alabama. But I've seen people grow some nice okra here. If you can grow okra here, you're in a pretty good planting zone. I mean, okra is a blood brother of cotton. I mean, they're related. Just look at the flowers on the same flower. I love okra, so I got to plant some okra. I've never been on Facebook. That's okay, Keith. So Pine Top is gorgeous. It is. It is. She's from the area, although she's moved out. So Pine Top is gorgeous. I don't miss Facebook. No one there is awake. Yeah, there are some people who are, but they get picked on a lot by platform. But that's called Biden forced it. The paperwork, it's been shown now. Anyway, yeah, Facebook's there's a lot of conservative posts there. But if you were posting something conservative there and you go to Britain, they might arrest you. Guys, that's just crazy where the world's headed. Really crazy. What time is it? It's 10:30. My okra grows to 6 feet tall sometimes. Well, if you see the picture of me that's on my greengrex.com, the icon picture of me, it looks like I'm standing in a forest somewhere or trees over me. That's okra. It was my own little variety. I had my own little variety I developed of Star David okra. They grew big. They would stay, even though the okra would go long, it would still be tender. Is it a snowflake thing there for what? Is it a snowflake thing there for water? I'm not sure what you mean. There is a stream that goes through Snowflake that comes out of the mountains. It's called Silver Creek, and eventually makes a canyon of its own. Silver Creek does. Greg, we don't talk about the trees in Arizona, but we have our, but even our trees have needles. Well, some people call these bushes around where I'm at trees, the junipers. Oh yeah, I posted a picture of me on Facebook with a big prickly thing. Let's see if I can find it out here. Now, this thing is not doing anything. I'm going to exit the video here, so it's not advancing the chat room like I like to see. Well, I'll just go to picture. I don't know if I can show pictures from my phone here with the dog through the camera, but give you an idea. Here's some of the snow. All right, I'm gonna have to go back to my other screen to see what I'm showing you, see if it actually shows up. Hang on, right here. Let's see. That's a hill close to my house with snow on it. Let's see here. There's my cars. They had more snow on them this morning than yesterday. That's yesterday, man. So we got plenty of snow last night. It lasted for a while. It's finally melted off. Here's the batteries I got from my solar. That's the most expensive part of the whole system. Still buying wire. I got the panels. I'll do some videos on that. So again, that's the batteries again. let's see here. What I was going to show you. Oh, yeah. One picture I want to show you in particular. In case you didn't know it, we do have some pretty mountains here in Arizona. Beautiful mountains. Lots of them. Lots of mountains between here and Phoenix. Lots and lots of mountains. But different mountain ranges all packed in together. So I posted this picture on Facebook. And my caption is, dang, there's some big, tall, sticky things here in Arizona. Something like that. Somebody out here from last weekend. I was doing a rescue mission. I went down to the northern edge of the Phoenix area. I was on a rescue mission for that. There's a tree with needles, Jesse. That's what prompted me to look at that stuff. You talk about trees with needles. Gossip is on good for growing weeds. Hey, Shaggy. All right. Clemson, spineless, and crow. Oh, we're talking Clemson spineless. That would be okra, right? And cowhorn. Yeah, the cowhorn's big okra. Let's see. Snowed about 3 inches, 2 days each, melted fast. Yeah, not really muddy. Yeah. I thought I'd be trapped in here. I didn't manage to get out this evening though. If I tried earlier, I'd been stuck. I have a big clay hill to go up to get out of my property. And you know, if that's clay's wet, you ain't going up it. You might go down it, but you ain't going up it. So that's right. I rescued Saul's Eye's friend. He's a friend of Saul's Eyes. He asked for a rescue, and I stepped up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody needed rescuing, so I did it. uh, you need to dig a catch basin. Well, I've got the pond liner I had in my aquaponics greenhouse. I might use it in the greenhouse, but then again, I might just put it out here in a wash to use it to catch water. That's one of my thoughts on that too. Or if I might find some of that bentonite clay, I might use that instead of the pond liner. I think it cost me a lot of money. Well, you're welcome, Soul's Eye. She's a good lady. So you're welcome. Yeah, somebody needed rescuing. Keith in Arizona. All right, so folks, we covered all our main points today. Does anybody have any prayer requests? Anybody got a condition they need praying over? I got a blood clot I'm trying to get dissolved. Long time no see. Well, that's because I usually a lot later coming in here. Yeah, she is. She is. And prayer requests, my friends. Pray we don't get World War III. About that. Pray for peace. 146 in chat, 104 likes. There you go. That's great. That's great. Getting a rain catchment on my. Yeah, I'm planning to put a gutter on this side of this building. I plan to build a little greenhouse attached to it on that. Oh, excuse me, gutter on that side. On this side. So I might put one on. I'm planning to put a porch over here. And so I'm going to use all that for rain collecting areas. I'm going to build a bunch of sheds, which I'll use some of them. Yeah, I still got it. I'm still taking this. It's going down, I think. Although I did feel a stiffness. I sometimes still feel some stiffness in my calf. But it's not like it was. It was pulling blood in my ankle. It's not doing that now. So it's breaking up. Pray for peace. Amen. Prayers for those. Prayers for those for sure. Big one. Pray for people who were just went through those terrible. Yes. Thank you, Cheery. the tornadoes. There's some fires in Oklahoma, tornadoes from Arkansas to Alabama and Mississippi. Mississippi got hit pretty hard. We can pray for the people that are suffering at the hands of war. But the tornadoes, there's some people there that really need some help. The people had involved in that traffic pile up in Flagstaff, that was awful. And then more like Europe is sick of this fence setting USA. I think we need to get out. No, we shouldn't be setting fences, just get out. I mean, Europe is just a dependent. It talks about their allies, they're dependents. Oh, big worm, the astronaut. Oh, Lord. All right, folks. Yeah, you can pray for my leg. New Day's probably still in some of the recovery mode. Is New Day still with us? I haven't seen her mention anything in a little bit. I thought she was in the chat room. Pretty sure I saw her early on. Oh, I did. Maybe something happened. She had to get out. See her in this line of chat. Oh, well. Yeah, she's usually posting a lot of links when she's in here. God bless America. Amen to that. We need to be fence building, wall building. Yeah. Hey, Big Worm, how you doing? Yeah, we got Big Worm in here. So those organically pure blue juniper berries. Yeah, people might make gin out of them. I'm not into alcohol though. You could eat a few, but you wouldn't want to eat many. I guarantee you that, Rick. On Christ in your heart. Time is near. Sam, we got a lot of challenges right now. There's a lot of challenges. That don't mean we should ever surrender. Keep up good work as long as you can, whatever it is. Keep fighting for freedom. So let's do a little quick prayer session. Let's pray for all these people that are suffering from the weather. And let's pray that this World War III thing holds on. There she is. Still here listening while I'm in the kitchen. Okay. Good to see you still here. Hey, she can cook. I'll tell you that. Wow. All right, folks. Let's do a quick prayer session here. And, I don't tell people how to pray because this is not a religious channel. Just pray according to your own beliefs and traditions. What all helps for blood clots? I'm taking a blood thinner. I'm eating some garlic and onions. That'll probably help. Personally, I learned a lot more to the church song or praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. I like that song. Praise the Lord and pass the ammo. All righty. Amen to that. That should be a t-shirt. I'm sure it is already. All right, Stray Kid. If anybody's got any advice on blood clots, I'd be interested in seeing it. I've just been trying to take it a little bit easy, but I still have chores to do here, especially when you're running. All the electricity here right now is gasoline, so I have to carry big jugs of gasoline around to run my generators. These generators are used, but the newest one uses more oil than the older ones, but they all use a lot of oil. So oil, gasoline, and it's very expensive to power your home. The gasoline generator, very expensive. So I can't wait till my solar's up. Plus, it's noisy. I got my quieter generator running right now for the purposes within the video. The other one screams, it's real loud. Well, y'all said, I think I had a live session, and y'all said y'all didn't hear it. That's good. I'll have to test that out again. Oh, the other thing, I got two cats. One's outdoors, and the other one, Smokey, is still in the house. Freddy cat's still outdoors. Well, I had Smokey out a little bit today. He wanted to go out and check out the other cat. So I let him out for a little bit. I came back in here, I was working on some stuff and had my louder generator running. And I went outside to take care of Mother Nature's business, and I saw canine prints dug in the ground, running, aimed toward the house. So, oh, I didn't see my cats. So yeah, we still got to pray. But I got worried. Well, Freddy Cat showed, not Freddy Cat. Smokey showed up. He was hiding under the steps, and he like looked out in the direction the steps came from. He was scared, but I got him in the house. I didn't know where Freddy Cat was at, so I got my AR Nuke. And if you don't know what Nug is, flip the word around. You know, we use code here in the language thanks to a loving platform here. A great free speech platform. Yeah, right. Anyway, so I walked around the property hunting those dogs, coyotes, where they were. They had big nails in the print, so I'm thinking they were dogs. So the one, this large one and a small one. I didn't see them anywhere. So, but I did find Freddy Cat hiding in the bus. I know Freddy Cat could get in the bus, but he has his own hiding place. So all my cats are safe. That's the good news. So reading from Louisiana. Hey, good to see from Louisiana. KP. KP Heather. Sam, thank you, Lord, for opening us up to our grace. Lord, help and heal those who are struggling and suffering. There we go. So there's plenty of herbs helpful for blood thinners, but don't use them if you're taking a blood thinner. There you go. Well, I'll consult with you about what to do here. All right. Let's do a little prayer session here. And they'll end by asking everybody where you're from, because we're on earlier than normal, so we don't have so many of the Europeans here. Our Australians, hadn't seen them in the house. So just give it a minute here. Let's say a quick prayer. Amen. I'm not feeling so late. It's a beat. I got to get off. I just don't have a prayer session every night, so people miss that. Isn't vitamin K the opposite of blood thinner? You take vitamin K and vitamin D together. Take vitamin D, take vitamin K. Viagra is a blood thinner. They say it will extend life. They actually say Viagra is a life extension medicine. So it can extend life a fair bit. I need to get me some of that stuff. Oh yeah, for Granny Lana, 72 hours from now. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, she passed on somebody's birthday. Wow, Granny Lana. She was a good soul. Alrighty, folks. Yeah, I got feedback from Randy Bly, and we prayed for him a lot because he had cancer and he was supposed to pass away by now. Yeah, the doctor gave him like no time to live. So hey, you're over, you're done. And we prayed for him a lot. And guess what? His cancer's in remission. He's doing good. Guys, power of prayer. It works, guys. I believe in it. I think Judy's in the house. You can ask her. We prayed for her. I heard of the man who unalived from Viagra couldn't close the coffin. All righty. Lordy. Couldn't close the coffin. Vitamin E thins the blood. You gotta be careful with vitamin E, what I hear. I don't know who you need to hear this prayer right now, but the power of God was upon you. Thank you. I believe it. Oh, I've had a very miraculous healing on one occasion in my life. Very miraculous. So I do believe in power prayer. I do believe that you can talk to the greater creator. That's how I refer to God. It's the creator of everything. Yeah, there's been a lot of guys, but there's only one greater creator. So, all righty, folks. Everybody tell us where you're from. Yeah, she was nice. She took in a lot of kids, looked after them, a lot of challenges. She had a good heart. All right, folks, tell us where you're from. We're here a little different hours than normally. Don't mix herbs and meds, right? I got you. Hurricane Heather, Heidi. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's some other stuff coming. Area 51. Jason's always from Area 51. Texas. Yeah, JoJo. JoJo's in Texas. Stray kid. Vitamin K. Well, vitamin K and vitamin D, I'd probably take those anyway. Run out of, I need to replenish my vitamin. West Wokistan, true weather. Yeah, it doesn't mean what I talked about East and West Wokistan, if you don't know what we're talking about. Idaho at the moment. Hey, Solza. Yeah, she was a neighbor here. I never got to meet her directly. I'd hope to, but it didn't pan out. She had property real close to her one time. She sold out though. Alberta, the 51st state of the United States of America. Yeah, well, welcome you. Be a good conservative state. Be a good state to add. But be happy to have Alberta as a state. Alberta, Saskatchewan. Yeah, I think they would both fit real nice. Although Canadian Prepper would have to change his name if Saskatchewan joined the United States. His name is Nate, but he'd have to change the name of the channel, right? How could he be the Canadian Prepper, Saskatchewan join the United States? That'd be funny. Hey, Nate, are you listening? What are you going to do? He's probably laughing. He probably don't think it's credible. You never know. Stranger things happen. All righty. Stray Kents, good to see you. We hadn't seen you in a while. Springtime in Carolina. I can make a song. I haven't heard that, but it probably is. When it's springtime in Alaska, you'll be 6 feet below. You heard that song? Springtime in Alaska. Why would he be 6 foot below in the springtime? Because the ground was too hard in the wintertime to bury people up there. I couldn't dig it. Yeah, I know. I lived in Alaska 2 years. Loved it. Beautiful state. Beautiful state. Yeah, vitamin K2 and D3 work. Yeah, take them together. 146, rewind. All right, you number 146. Yeah, catch on the rewind, folks. St. Patty's Day. That's right. Redneck Prepper. How you doing, buddy? Redneck Prepper. All righty, folks. So, yeah, if you're just coming in, catch the rewind. And I'm glad we've had all the people in here we've had tonight. We've been on 97 minutes. I believe that's long enough. Don't kick the crowns. Not sure what that refers to. Unless I can get an image of a chicken there, maybe. It's the permafrost. Yeah, okay. No, don't kick the crows. I read it wrong. Don't kick the crows. It'd be ravens in Alaska. There's ravens here. There's no crows here. It's just ravens. In Alabama's all crows. When I first got to Alaska, it was April Fool's Day, 1981. And they put me up at Fort Wainwright for a night. Then they sent me to Fort Greeley, my permanent station duty up there. But I was standing out in front of the bivouac, not bivouac, the, what do you call it? Shoot, BOQ, BEQ, I forget what they call the barracks that put us in. But I went outside and looked, and I heard all these big black birds. I thought, man, it's so cold up here in Alaska, even the crows are hoarse. So, but that's just the way that ravens sound. You know, they don't go caw, caw, caw. They got a whole different sound. Anyway, $500 fine when I was there. I was also at Wainwright. Okay. Yeah, I went through Wainwright, but I was stationed at Fort Greeley. Spent 2 years there. Good times. All right, folks. Hey, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If I missed a super chat, I'll just have to thank you retroactively. So, yeah, I think the chat session here didn't scroll all the way to the beginning, and the chat session on the phone stopped early on, so I might be missing something in the middle. Good night, Stacy. Hey, I may do a little. We may have to have a meetup in a restaurant or something here for all our fans here from Arizona. So many out here. That might be fun to do. So it might be something to kick around where everybody want to go to get together out here that's in the area. And we may one of these days I'll have a big rendezvous for the channel. That'll be fun, right? All right. Love you too, Souls. She's my original mod. The very first mod on this channel is Soul's Jules. She was mod 1. So anyway, guys, we got the mod squad. All you mods. Yeah. Maybe tomorrow will be a lot better. Yeah, weather's kind of knocked me out of doing a lot of stuff. All right, JoJo, love you too. Love everybody in here. Listen, guys, once again, thank you for watching. Thank you, mods, for all you do keeping the channel clean. Oh, we got Chicago in the house. All right, very good, Darren. Catch it on the rewind, folks. We're going to be gone here in a minute. Meet at the range. Oh, you mean like a rifle range, a shooting range? Not a bad idea. The burger joint in St. John's has the best burgers ever. Well, I haven't tried that. Maybe. Yep. Mod number 1. That's true. That's true. We got a lot of good mods there. Jesse, everyone have a great night. Amen. So I do think the Europeans and the Australians aren't with us tonight. So I'll sit this with that. To one and all, a good night. Ho, ho, ho. One and all, a good night. Ho, ho, ho. Greg out.